Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Video Game Chronicles. Today I'm going to show you all of the Nintendo 8-bit and 16-bit systems that I have, both American and Japanese, all Model 1s. I don't have any Model 2s. There is one particular Model 2 that I want to get, but that won't be until the near future. Now I'm going to start with the Japanese systems because these are the Japanese systems while the American systems are over here. And of course I also got my games also on this shelf. So let's get on with it, shall we? And I'm going to show you, the first thing I got to show you is the Famicom, released in 1983. And of course the peripheral, the Famicom Disk System, released in 1986. Now the RAM adapter here, you'll need that to play your Famicom Disk System games. Otherwise, the Famicom Disk System will not work because it is a cartridge. Yeah, the RAM adapter is a cartridge that you need to plop in order to play your FDS games. Now, you don't necessarily need the power supply for the Famicom Disk System. You can get 6 C batteries, and you'll be able to play your Famicom Disk System just with that sort of power, because this doesn't take too much power. So, and now we're going to go into the 16-bit Japanese Nintendo system that I have, and that's the Super Famicom. Yep, the Super Famicom was released in 1990, and of course I got a game here which was actually released in America, and of course it's Super Bomberman 2. And of course you can get that at a thrift shop, retro game store, pawn shop, or online. So now we're going to get to the American systems, and of course I got 2 refurbished NESs that I actually refurbished myself, released in 1985, and these didn't get a full release until 1986. And of course I got 2 refurbished NESs. Of course I got a third NES, but that's not refurbished, so you won't see that on this shelf. At least not in this video. So, and finally we got the Super Nintendo, released in 1991. And this is the most beaten up out of all my Nintendo systems because I've actually had this the longest, because I've actually had the Super Nintendo since 1991. And the only thing that I really needed to replace is the pin connector, and that was it. But I will say that in the near future I am going to replace the plastic on this, but I'm going to keep the motherboard because the motherboard is in great shape. It works just fine, and my Super Nintendo games play pretty well. And of course we're going to show you the power supplies that I got, that I also have on this shelf. This of course is the NES power supply, that's the Famicom power supply, and that's the Super Nintendo power supply. Now we're going to talk about the Famicom power supply. Now, you know that a NES power supply will not work on a Super Nintendo. And of course you know that the Super Nintendo power supply will not work on an NES. However, the Famicom power supply, surprisingly enough, actually works on both the Famicom and Super Famicom, which means you can use just one power supply for both these systems. It's just too bad Nintendo of America did not think of this. Nintendo of Japan did a great idea when they just allowed for one power supply to work on the Super Famicom along with the Famicom, of course, and that's awesome, because I will tell you, the one thing I don't like is the Super Nintendo power supply, because the problem is with the back of the Super Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo the AC adapter back on the Super Nintendo has this plastic piece, and if it breaks, guess what? You're going to have to fidget with this in order for your Super Nintendo to work. That's why I don't like this power supply one bit. And I don't like the way they set up the AC adapter for the Super Nintendo. I wish they would have just just had the NES power supply work on the Super Nintendo. It's just too bad Nintendo of America decided not to do that. Well, that's pretty much it, and these are all my Japanese and American 8-bit and 16-bit Nintendo systems. All Model 1s, like I said. I will get one Pacific Model 2 in the near future. But that'll be for another time, and there'll be an unboxing of that in the near future, if I ever get it. Okay, that's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Happy gaming.